It had 14 people, which is why you get to meet every single character.
Yeah, that makes sense, definitely. But I always thought that's why it confused me. Let's see.
Oh, that would be very confusing.
Oh, no, you are absolutely... Oh, that's what I always see. I just came to a realization now.
Here we go.
I always see the established 1902 as the population. That's what it was.
1,900 people, which would make sense because the population 1,800. No, 14 people. There was a wild snowstorm on the first day of shooting that caused production to fall behind a day or two. There were some fun titles for this originally, Marcus. What were they?
There was. First one was horrible. Land Sharks. I mean, no.
And SNL put the kibosh on that, is that right?
Yeah, they did, of course, because they had the sketch and everything, too, with the Sharks. But, yeah, I'm glad they dodged that bullet. But the next one now, the working screenplay title that they had while they were writing, Beneath Perfection.
Love it.
And that is just golden. That is, man.
That could either be like a weird, that could either be like a weird, like Heaven's Gate style movie, or like a horror movie, or whatever. I think it's a great title, and I'm sure it's copyrighted. But if you're going to write a movie, it doesn't matter what the movie is. Name it that, and it'll fit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Tremors, of course, it sticks. It's it's perfect. It's perfect.
They certainly came out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine calling it Graboid or anything else, too, like that. But and we'll get into that kind of the life cycle here in a minute later on with how they produce and that whole life cycle of a Graboid, because there's different transformations, which if you've seen all the Tremors, you clearly understand, and we may even make a mistake here. But
if there are some stands for the Graboid lifestyle, and we miss something, feel free to come at us. Tremors gets away with one F-bomb. There were originally more. In fact, they were filmed, and if you watch, you can obviously see ADR or post-production where Kevin Bacon speaks over his actual line of like...
Right.
Like, I think one of the ones they edit out and you can really see is "Can you fly, you fucker," or something like that, as the final Graboid dies going out the cliff face. But the one they get is when they kill him in the drainage ditch, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the one F-bomb they got away with to keep it a PG-13, because they want kids to come see the movie,
Yeah, they just want... I'm surprised that they didn't save it for the last one, that they got it out of the way in the first one, too.
I agree. I think it's very strange. Like, and it's such more epic death.
Right. It's kind of like Optimus Prime saying shit, at the very end nearly when he's fighting, kind of the...
Oh, no, he says...
Does he say damn or shit?
No, Ultra Magnus, when he's trying to open the Matrix.
Yeah.
Is at a point where he's about to get blasted, and he's like, "Open, damn it!
Yeah, damn
open!"
It,
And then the human, I think, says shit.
Okay.
In Transformers, I'd have to go back and watch it, which I probably will anyway. Yeah, so he gets away with that one F-bomb. Went to VHS, and that's when it made its effing money back.
Yeah, man, 4th of July. I mean, you're getting around that 4th of July holiday period, July 12th, 1990. You're coming out on VHS. I mean, VHS is just booming at this time now. It's starting to.
Yeah.
And
it's also a big deal. It was always a big deal when movies were coming to a rental, like coming to a movie store, because it was like, I don't know. I just remember it always being a big deal. I think Tuesdays were the releases, and that was always a huge thing for me and my family.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was what you look forward to. I mean, it was more fun to go into a video store and look up at the upcoming releases and see like the title, and it's just like, oh my god, that's going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just seeing that title, especially like a Batman and those kind of movies, like, oh my god, I'm going to have access to that movie now. But like you said, going into a movie store and picking up like seeing that gap between the wall and the cover art box, and knowing like I gotta get there, and you're always looking around because you think somebody might be heading straight
at
for
any
that
moment.
Could be heading right for it too. And
did you ever do that thing where it's like you get there and it's the clear plastic actual VHS is not behind it, so you check behind the other ones to see if anyone has hidden it, like behind
time.
A shittier movie or something like that.
If you don't do that, you're a rookie. You shouldn't be in this game. You shouldn't be checking out movies if you're not doing that. Yeah.
Leave it to the grown folks. I would do that like if it was, I don't know, like a big 92, like Mighty Ducks when that came out, and it was all checked out. The 5 copies they had were always gone. You never know. You got to check behind the crappier older releases, even on the lower shelves, and see what you could get.
Yeah, it's and that was the fun of it. I mean, it's just like now, any movie that you said is on, you can find on Netflix, Prime, Hulu, anything like that. it's, my wife gets mad at me a lot because there's movies that come on that, Dumb and Dumber or something like that too, where if she's like, you could just watch this on, on Netflix or another streaming service. And it's like, it's much more fun when you just find it and you just watch it. It's like, you did it. You got to the mountaintop. Now enjoy your reward.
You got to the mountaintop. I think that's absolutely correct. And there was some more fun facts about the movies before we get too bogged down in how awesome video stores were. There's a really cool website you can find in relation to this where someone has taken the time and given you information on every single gun on that wonderful gun wall that Bert has in his doomsday prepper shelter.
Yeah, it's great. So tremors.fandom.com, you can find it on there. It's Bert Gummer's gun wall. Of course, Bert and Heather, as every kid, it was what you wanted, and it was what I thought every parent had. And I thought, man, maybe there's a gun wall somewhere.
You're like, Dad, where's the button you press that moves the bookcase and shows me your arsenal?
Yeah, in this $200 apartment a month, where is the gun wall that we can enter?
Where have you retrofitted, like under your bed? I was surprised when you done the research and were talking to me about how it was a flop, and I said, "Wow, that's crazy to think about because the movie was so stacked."
Right.
But at the time, it wasn't that stacked because you had Reba, who was a bona fide music celebrity at this point. She was on tour.
Yeah.
And I was like, but you had KB.
Right. I mean,
that's
who,
Bankster.
Yeah, that's who I think Kevin Bacon and Reba, of course, are the first ones that, people think as stars put up with this movie. But, yeah, I mean, Kevin Bacon...
He wasn't the Bacon at this point.
No.
Or he was the Bacon, but he had fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, since we saw his portrayal of Ren in Footloose in 1984, I mean, everybody thinks that it was just smooth sailing for him after that, but it wasn't. I mean, he did put out a lot. I think it was a total of maybe like anything from like 7 to 8 movies between 84, between Footloose and Tremors, but they were duds. I mean, he was the handsome guy. He was put him as a teenager, put him as a single guy in the city. Just the playboy looking for love deep down, and he didn't know it. And these weren't hitting home for many people. And
no.
At that time, that's when kind of Ron Underwood and Maddox and Wilson thought, I think like Kevin Bacon would be great to have this as the Valentine character. So they went to him, and he's like, I got to do something here, and he went with it. And so at that time, Bacon wasn't a big grab for him.
And this movie is looked back on so fondly, and it was not well received there. So I mean, maybe it gets released in January, and he's like, "Well, fuck, I did it again. I have released another dud." So I don't know. What would you say like brought Kevin Bacon? What was the movie that did it? Was it this one? I don't know.
You mean as far as bringing him back into the fold?
Yeah.
Of it? I mean, you look at Tremor. I mean, after this, you did have Flatliners, which, I mean, it's a cult following, but it's not huge. But I mean, Flatliners is fun. But I mean, the next year he would have JFK, and that would kind of propel him into.
And they're like, "Oh, this guy's good.
Yep.
He's an actor.
I mean, in '91 you had JFK. '92 you had A Few Good Men. '94 you had The River Wild and The Air up there.
River Wild was amazing.
It was. River Wild is great, man.
It's good, yeah. And The Air up there. I saw that with my dad in theaters.
Yeah, I mean
the Jimmy Dolan shake and bake.
Yeah, I mean after Tremors, like. It was a consistent year of good.
Maybe this did bring it back. Maybe it was
like it. Yeah.
Maybe this was the movie that reminded people of how enjoyable he is on screen.
I like to think that Oliver Stone saw JFK or saw Tremors, and he was just like, I mean, this is it. This is who's.
He's like, I'm going to dig in that guy's backstory.
Yeah. This is who.
And I'm going to do a prequel to Tremors and call it JFK. I wonder what Kevin Costner's doing. Yeah. Literally right now, just watching episodes of Yellowstone, probably.
Right.
An interesting quote from him when we think back about all he's done and the laundry list of 90s movies that he just is crushing in, he's said that this is the only character, Val is the only character he would want to go back and revisit.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you look back at what he's done. I mean, Stir of Echoes, Hollow Man, Wild Things. I mean,
I get not wanting to revisit those. I don't know. Wild Things was pretty fun. Is it true... Maybe you don't know this, but is it true that he really fought to get his dick in that movie? Like, they were like, we don't need it, and he's like, I'd like you to put my penis in this movie.
I think so. I think Bacon wanted the notoriety. I think he just wanted that. I think he wanted America to just have a little.
Because he did it in Hollow Man too. I mean, it was an invisible dick, but it was still there.
It was that muscle dick that he had on there. That
yeah, maybe I read this could be just completely fiction, but like they're like, well, we might cut the scene, and Kevin Bacon's like, nah. Maybe he's worked. He's like, I've worked out a bunch. I want this full nude scene. I put the time in, give it to me.
Right.
And
be proud. Of what
good
you
for
got,
him.
Man. Yeah, be proud. Of it. Let it out.
Talk about Bacon. Other fun things about this movie: Keira Sedgwick was in labor. And she was on the set with him, and there was only one phone on set. I guess it was before the time of rampant cell phone use. So basically that phone was for if she went into labor, Kevin Bacon could go and be there with her. And she did go into labor, and he did leave after a scene that is actually in the movie, which is really cool.
Yeah, at chain stores, so when they're fighting the graboid there, they're trying not to let him in. They're him and Earl are getting on top of the Pepsi ice cooler that they have there, and it's shaking about. And that's when that was an interior shot they had got done actually with all the exterior shooting in the desert, and they were back in like Valencia or something shooting the interior. And that's when Kira gave him a call and said, "Honey,
that baby, it's time.
Yep, your lineage is getting expanded by one," and it was that time for the.
That is how all pregnancy should be announced. Our lineage shall continue forth.
And Bacon 2 was about to arrive, and it was so they kept the scene because it only took them like 2 minutes to shoot that scene, 2 or 3 minutes, and so they kept it in there, and then right after that he got out to the hospital and he delivered that shot. Well, he didn't deliver it. I'm sure he just watched, but he cheered her on.
Well, Marcus, we love this movie.
We do.
But
a lot of people do.
We talked about it. Was it well received when it first came out?
I think this is one of those movies. I mean, I don't think I know from the reviews, but it's one of those movies that's odd in a sense that it is very like middle of the road. You know, there's the light. I mean, you have Siskel and Ebert, of course, who I believe it was Siskel who didn't like it, Ebert who did. We'll put that review up too. We'll put that whole video up on our social media as well, but where you can watch that. You had the LA Times who were the same way. Chicago Tribune said it was fun, but every one of these were just like it's missing something. It didn't know. They didn't know what Tremors was trying to hold on to. Like, what were they? And which is a very reasonable thing to say too. You watch this movie now as an adult, and let's say you don't see it or you're just seeing it for the first time. You're going to have fun, but at the same time, you don't know, is this going to be horror? Is this, even at the end, was this horror? Was this comedy? Was this action? What was it? Literally. And I think that's where it missed the point, and kind of missed the cue from a lot of these reviews that came out.
Mixed, to say the least, in terms of reviews. And once again, any interviews and stuff like that, you can always, whatever film we're doing, you can always go check our social media, and we'll have interviews and backstage stuff on our, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. We'll always have videos of that up. I'd like you to do me a favor, Marcus.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's important to set context for what we're watching. I'd like you to take me back to January of 1990.
Okay, so this is just off the top of my head then, right?
Okay, yeah, just off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Put me in the place where I would be, what was around me? What's the context in which I'm seeing Tremors?
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Okay. So it's 1990. All right, let's all go back. Let's think about that. Now for me, it's Friday, January 19th, 1990. It's release day. It's been a tough year for me as a sixth grader. Right now I'm changing classes. I have a locker, so I'm trying to get used to that kind of elementary school to junior high switch that's about to happen in 1 year. Yeah, and I mean, you're going from boys to men. I mean, that's why they made the CD, was because I think they had that trouble from elementary to junior high, and they said, we got to make a CD about this.
Cooley High.
Yep. And so, I'm working with that. I'm changing classes. Me and my friends, we head over to my house because tonight it's going to be pizza night, and then we're going to get dropped off at Wynwood Mini Mall to see Tremors.
Where all the magic happens.
Yeah. This isn't just a standalone theater. No, this is a mini mall. This has the constructs of America imprinted on the entrance as you pull into this expanse of stores and merchandise and everything that a child needs and nothing that an adult needs.
No, it's not for the adults.
No, it's not. So we head back to my place first. We got to, after school, we got to freshen up, get some snacks into us. We get back.